Hi everybody, this is Tina with Loving Life's Little Blessings, and today I wanted to chat with you guys about Project Life. This is my family album. This is the album that I'm working on very consistently all year long. Well, maybe not consistently isn't the right word, but it's always out and I'm always piling stuff on it, and it's, you know, the work in progress all year long. I do 3 other albums, one for each of my kids, and those albums are put up and I kind of do them on a quarterly basis, probably like every couple months. I get them out, drop photos in them, drop cards in them, you know, drop all their extra stuff in them. So I wanted to chat with you guys a little bit about my Project Life family album because I haven't really talked about it in a little bit. And honestly, that's because I've kind of been going through a phase that's been a little bit harder for me to dive in and get it done. So you can see that I have some extra stuff sitting here. I do 2 albums per year. If you're new to my channel, let me just clarify that this is this year's album, but I do 2 albums. So I do basically a January through the end of June and then July through the end of December. And that's because my albums get pretty full. Here is, this is January through the end of June. So all of June is in here and it just tends to get really full. I cannot imagine trying to get 1 year into 1 album. I mean, there is like no room left in there. And I don't do a ton of extra stuff, but I do enough that it creates, you know, where I need 2 albums. So I have not journaled very much into this album. I've not journaled since March, I believe. I think even back in February has a little bit that still needs to be journaled, but really from March on really needs to be journaled. You can see that I add a few traditional layouts when I need to, when I want to, when I have the time. And then we have I have a lot of inserts in Project Life style inserts, but I do have a lot of stuff in here. So I have done quite a few inserts and gone back and got all the photos together. I did print photos a couple weeks ago, and I got all the photos through the middle of July, I believe. So like you can see all here, this is June. And then I think maybe just the end of June. I think I'm even missing a picture or 2 back here. Maybe not. I thought I was. It doesn't look like it. So really, I have not printed for July yet. And one of my problems is I don't like not printing on a weekly basis. So I used to print weekly. I used to print every Friday, drop my photos in for the previous week, and then move on. The way I do it now is about every 4 to 5 weeks. I try to remember to print photos. I print a stack of them and then I sort them. And I still have a stack of photos sitting over on the other side of my desk of photos that I need to deal with. So it's just an issue. I don't know how to print more on top of things. It's just a real struggle for me. So this is all the way through June. And like I said, I need to journal. So I just need to sit down and do that. And once I do that, this can actually go into our living room. So I have everything in here, photos, everything. I'll just journal and then it can go in here. So one of the other things that I need to do is I need to deal with these spines and label them. I've never labeled any of them since I've been doing Project Life. So I started that back in 2010 or 11. I think I actually did our family album for 2010 in this format, but it wasn't all Project Life because I had just found Project Life. So I am going to do a tutorial at some point in the near future, I'm hoping, on what I do with this and how I figure it out, because I just don't have a very good solution. So if you guys are interested in that, please let me know and then we'll figure it out. So I also want to mention that over on my website today, you can get to that by just clicking right up here. There's going to be some information on there on how to get caught up with Project Life, just some links that I have found helpful. I want to share that with you guys. So this is July through December. right here. And I don't have an album yet just because I simply have not purchased one. I haven't gotten to a place to purchase one yet. I usually purchase this album right here. I usually purchase from either Target or Michael's, and it's just the teal We Are Memory Keeper faux leather album. I believe this one came from Target. It's just, that's the color I use, and then they're basically the same. They are the same. They're by We Are Memory Keepers. So I try to use a coupon if I go to Michael's, and then if I'm at Target, I just pick one up. They're usually $20. I think that Target might be have discontinued carrying albums like that. I'm not sure because I don't shop at Target much. So this is July through December, and what I'll do is I'll just add some designer paper to the front of this. Like, I won't do a whole nother cover page simply because I don't need to. I'll just add the paper and then we'll go right into July. So for July, I used the Adventure Awaits kit. That was a new kit that I purchased a little while ago. I'm gonna zoom out just a tiny bit so you guys can kind of get an idea. I have my calendars. I really think this is the last year I'm going to use a calendar. I'm not using it the way I would like. I had been writing kind of down our schedule, what we do, things like back to school, and then sort of like what was going on for the month. I know like in July we had some kind of weird weather. It wasn't like just some different weather than what we've had the last few years, and I had kind of wanted to jot that down. But it's one of those things I never get to because I'm not doing it on a weekly basis. I'm printing basically monthly or every other month. And so to go back and do this, it just seems like it's not working anymore. So this, and for July, I have one of these page protectors that I talked about in one of my last videos. I'll leave the link on where to get these. They're 8.5 by 11 page protectors, but then they're broke up into 4 pockets. And I really like that because I get a lot of cards through the month, handmade cards, and I just hate to throw them away. So in order to be able to display them better, I normally just put them in this pocket. But like in July, I got quite a few because I went to convention and there were some things going on. Like this was a graduation, and I have another graduation card that to put in there. And so I like being able to do that, and it's kind of a nicer way to display things, I feel like. And then for July, I did a 4th of July insert, and I actually have a process video that you guys are going to be seeing later on for this, but I used the Americana cards by Becky Higgins, and I did 2 inserts. I did this insert, which this is a Stampin' Up design. It's design 7, but I do know that Becky Higgins, I believe, makes this design as well. If not, you can take a design C page protector and just cut it in half. I've done that many times. So I used the Americana cards, and I did this layout where I just have one large photo. This is design F, and then there's a bunch of little 3x4 photos, and that worked really well. I am sorry, it is so loud here, you guys. It's unbelievable. The kids are running around and screaming, and then there's so much traffic on my road that usually is not there. It's just unbelievable. But I've tried to shoot this video 4 times, and I'm just gonna go with it. We're gonna roll with the punches on this video now. So you can see that's where my photos kind of end. So I really need to go back and get photos printed soon, like really soon, so that I can feel more caught up. So all of July uses the Adventure Awaits kit. I have the cards in there, and I have my title cards all glued down. And then in August, I think in August I used the Adventure, oh no, this is still July. Okay, so there's July. See, I have no photos. So in August, I used some pattern paper that I had on hand. It was a 6x6 paper pad that I had, and I used that paper. And I did go ahead and do all of my circle title cards. They're all down, and I've kind of put them up here just to make it a little bit easier on myself. And the other video I'm going to have up today is how I set up for several months ahead. I'm gonna have a video of that process. I talked about it when I was setting this up. I went ahead and I filmed. It was like a month ago that I did that. I think I was just getting over being sick, but I went ahead and I filmed the process of how I set things up and why I set them up several months ahead. And so that video will be up today. It will also be on my coordinating blog post. So I went ahead and did that, and I went ahead and dropped cards in for September. I used the Clementine core kit. And then in October, I'll be using some new paper from Stampin' Up. So I know that I need photos for sure. Like, I really very badly need photos. And then I have a couple things I wanted to insert here. So I have a video doing this as well that you guys are gonna see, a process video. I used the Fine and Dandy core kit to do this, and it is a Design In by Becky Higgins. Has the 3x4s up here and then the 4x4s in the middle. I really like page protectors that have the 4x4 pockets. I think it's really unique and it really works for my style of photos that I take. So this was a page that I did. This was swimming. And I had several photos of us swimming that day for several reasons. It was one of Violet's first time in the pool for the summer, and Andrew actually went in. So I had several photos of this, so I wanted to do an insert, but I didn't have enough photos to necessarily do the front and the back. But I did have these other photos that I had taken of a shed that we're tearing down on our property, and I had snapped a few photos. And so I thought, well, I'll just do them front and back, you know, one activity on the front and then the next activity on the back, and that's what I did. So this actually needs to go into July, and so you can see July has quite a few inserts, and that's what happens. I think that's probably why my stuff does not fit into one album. And when I don't have an album, I just use these little circle clips. You can get them at Walmart. And if I don't have an album, then I'll oftentimes just put the page protectors together with these little circle clips, these little hooks, and then I can keep everything together and not worry about it. So that is the inserts for that. And then I'll get photos printed and I just have to drop them in. So I have some other stuff here, and I want to share with you guys what I want to do with it. I want to get it put in this album. So oftentimes I will just stack stuff up here just like this. Like my albums are sitting out in the same spot, and then I just start dropping stuff on top of them. So I have a card that I got for something, and I wanted to keep it. So I just put it in this pocket, in this 8.5 by 11 pocket, and that's really why I like having the calendar and having that pocket, because it gives me a place to kind of drop things that maybe I want to keep, but there's no, you know, I don't want to cut it or anything or try to put it in a pocket or do a full layout with it. It kind of makes it nice. So then here is some stuff for Kayla. It's for Kayla's album, and I'll just set it aside. Same thing right here. It's for her album. So then there's a few things. These are some cards I left for the kids when I went on my trip to Utah, and I'll put those in their album. This was a really funny card. I think I shared this in a video from my friend Wendy. I love Castle, and I always say I'm gonna marry him someday, Nathan Fillion. I love him. And my husband and I have watched Castle since the very, very beginning of the show. We remember watching previews for it and thinking, oh, that'd be a good show. And it's really funny because all three of our kids, we've been in the hospital like on Mondays when the show was when the show was on. And I can remember for both of our girls watching an episode of Castle after we had our girls. And then when I came home from having Andrew that Monday, I came home on a Sunday afternoon or on a Monday, and that Monday night we watched Castle. So anyways, my good friend Wendy made me this card for convention, and she wrote on the card Kitten, which is from the show, and then it says "Hey girl" on there, and then she wrote in there, and so I wanted to keep this. That's actually what this spot right here is for. And so the great thing is that envelopes and the card will fit right in there, so I'll just slide that in, and then I can keep that and pull that out, and that makes it nice. So here's some stuff for my trip. So I have some plane tickets. Whenever I go anywhere where I want to like get a picture of sightseeing things, I always just purchase some postcards. That way I don't have to try to get the perfect photo. Like I have the whatever it is that I want to make sure I have a photo of, and then I can get more photos. You know, if I don't get, like when I went to Washington, D.C., I picked up a thing of postcards. And then that way, if I didn't get the perfect photo of the Washington Monument or the perfect photo of somewhere we were, I still had that really nice photo of it. So I grabbed those. This was from something on my trip. This was from convention. This was the agenda for convention right here. So I kept all of this stuff, and I will go ahead and do this probably maybe in my personal album, or I might just do an insert in here if it's stuff that I really want to keep. So I will set that aside, and then you can see that I have just a few other things. That's for Kayla's album. This was another photo for this gal that we know that graduated, and then these were the kids' stuff. So now I have pared down all the stuff will go in the kids' album. I can set that aside. See, this is just stuff that got thrown up here. And then I thought about including this little list. This is the list that I left my husband the morning I left of things to do. You know, put his check in the bank, text me. There was a few things I needed him to text me. There was some money he needed to pull for some bills, and then I needed him to pay the PG&E bill and the trash bill, so I left him this long list of notes because I was leaving. And I actually thought about keeping this actually maybe in here, because it's kind of nice. It's you know, a piece of our life, a reminder of that trip that I went on. And so I thought that would be nice. So that's where everything is. So that's nice that I just pared down all of those items, and then I'll figure out what to do with this. So that's where our albums are for my family album up until now. So I'll get photos printed and hopefully be back on track. So I would really like to hear from you guys if there's a harder time of the year for you guys, because I feel like every August my family project life gets really hard to do because I feel like I'm out of inspiration. It's like the newness of the brand new album, like setting up a new album and going into a new year, has certainly weared off. We're really busy. We're going into the holiday season. And so I feel like I just hit this like kind of this wall when it comes to my album that I have to get through and then and get excited about again. So do you guys have that? Is that like, do you struggle with that? And then does your album get behind? I know on my website that I'm going to go ahead and link a couple places where I have found really good information about getting caught up. Like if you fall really behind, some tips that you can do for getting caught up, and you can visit that on my website by just clicking right up here. It'll take you over there. But leave me a comment and let me know, like, is there a month or a couple months that feel harder to do your albums than other months, and what do you do to get through it? So I'd love to know, and maybe we can chat about it. So thank you guys so much for coming by and checking out my Family Project Life album. I enjoy sharing it with you guys and letting you see where I'm at, like really where I'm at and the struggles that I'm having. I will be back hopefully next week. I really appreciate you guys being so supportive of that little time that I took off and having to deal with Violet and getting her in school. And I appreciate all the kind things that you guys said, and just it was very nice. I felt very much supported in that, and I appreciate that. And so hopefully next week I will be back to hang out with you guys and show you guys some new projects, and hopefully we'll dive into the holiday catalog soon. So thanks you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a fabulous weekend. I'll talk to you next week.